Hi students! We're going to go ahead with our second set of notes in our polynomial unit. This set of notes is monomials times polynomials. So this is our second set of notes. You can find these notes under the polynomial unit in Schoology. So go ahead, pull it up and follow along. Just want to remind you about our exponent rule. When we are multiplying exponents, we are adding those exponents. So if I have x squared times x to the fourth, that is going to give me x to the sixth power. So just remember our exponent rules as we continue through this lesson. So I'm going to go over example 1 and example 2 on your notes. So we are going to use the distributive property here. We're going to say x times x, that's 1 here and 1 there. That's going to give me 2 x's. Then I'm going to distribute that x over there. X times 4 is going to give me 4x. I'm going to go to example 2, and again, we're going to use distributive property. This time, notice that we have 3 numbers that we are distributing to, but we're going to do it the same way. We're going to say 5m to the third times 3m squared. 3 times 5 is going to give me 15. I've got 3 m's here and 2 m's there, so when I add that together, I'm going to have 5 m's. Then I'm going to go to the next one. Remember, if there's no coefficient in front, it's automatically understood to be a 1. So 5 times negative 1 is going to give me negative 5. I've got 3 m's and 1 m, so that's going to give me 4 m's. Now I'm going to distribute to this last number. 5 times negative 7 is going to be a negative 35. I don't have any m's here, so I bring over those 3 m's. So this is distributive. You've used distributive before. You should be pretty familiar with this. Let's go down to the bottom of the first page and let's try another one on there together. And then we'll flip over to some harder ones on the back. So if we look at number 16, this is the last one on the front. We've got 5w times negative 7w plus 3 minus 2w times 13 minus 9w squared. So we are going to start with the distributive property. So let's start here. 5 times negative 7 is going to give me negative 35. And I've got 2w, so w squared. 5w times 3 is going to give me plus 15w. Now notice here you've got this negative. So when we distribute here, we have to remember that that is a negative 2w. So I've got negative 2w times 13, which is negative 26w. Then I've got a negative 2 times a negative 9, which is going to give me a positive 18. I've got 1w there, 2 there, so that's going to give me w to the third power. Now, remember our rule. We always have to start ABC order first, and then we order from exponents. We go from the highest to the lowest. So, since we only have one letter here, we're going to look at our exponents. This is our highest exponent, so when we write our answer, we're going to have to start with that highest exponent. So I'm going to bring that down, 18w to the third. So now I've got w squared, so I'm going to bring this piece down. I don't have anything I can combine with that. But for my w's, notice these are like terms, so I can go ahead and combine those like terms. A positive 15 and a negative 26 is going to give me a negative 11w. So there's my answer written in the correct form. So let's go ahead and flip to the back. I'm going to do a couple on the back with you, and then we will let you practice and see how you do with this. So flip your paper over to the back, and we are going to start with number 21. So we are doing number 21. We have 3v times 7v minus 2 plus 3 times v squared plus 2v plus 1 minus 3v times negative 5v plus 3. Now, we've got a lot to work with here, so we're going to take it step at a time. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and we are going to distribute all of this. So I've got 3v times 7v. So that's going to give me 21v squared. Then I've got 3v minus times minus 2, negative 2. So that's going to give me a negative 6v. Now I'm going to go to my next one. So 3 times 1, that's just going to give me a 3v squared. 3 times 2 is 6v. 3 times 1 is just 3. Now, again, we have to be careful here because I have a negative number that I'm multiplying by. So negative 3v times negative 5v is positive 15v squared. And then negative 3 times a positive 3 is going to give me a negative 9v. Now, we have to take all of this information, we have to combine it down to 1. Notice that my highest exponent is squared. So I'm going to look at all of my ones that have the squared. I got 21v squared plus 3v squared, so I'm at 24v squared. And then I'm going to add a 15v squared to that. That is going to give me 39v squared. Now I'm going to look at my v's. I've got a negative 6v and a positive 6v, so they're going to cancel each other out. Now I've got a negative 9v, so negative 9v. Then I've got this number right here that I'm going to bring down because I cannot combine it with anything else. So this is our answer. We've got it going from highest exponent to lowest exponent, ending with our constant. Let's go down and look at number 24. 24 has got a whole lot going on with it. So why don't you try it on some paper while I'm writing it up here and see how you do with it. 24. I've got 4b. Now notice I have brackets now. 2a squared minus 15. Whoops. I started going who knows where on that one. All right, let's try this again. 4b times 2a squared minus 5 times 3ab minus 2b squared. Got to end our parenthesis there, end our bracket, plus 29ab squared. All right, give me just a second. I want to make sure I have all this written right. A squared, 5, 3ab minus 2b squared. Okay, so we are going to stay inside the bracket first, and we are also going to have to do our parentheses first. So we are going to start with distributing this right here to begin with. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to bring down this 4b. I'm going to bring down these brackets. I'm going to put my 29ab squared there because I'm starting in here. Now, when I'm going to do distributive, I'm not doing anything with this 2a squared, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it down as well. So negative 5 times 3ab is going to give me a negative 15ab. Then I've got negative 5 times negative 2 is going to give me a positive 10b squared. When I look here, I see that there is nothing inside of there that I can combine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by doing distributive. I'm going to distribute this to each one of those. So I'm going to end up with 8a squared b minus 60 ab squared plus 40 b to the third, and I'm going to bring down that 29 ab squared. At this point, I've got to combine like terms and get these together. Now remember, when we are combining like terms, when we're writing this in the correct order, first we're looking at ABC order, and then we're looking at exponent order. So we're going to start with the ABC order, which means A's are what I'm going to look at first. Because this one doesn't have an A, it's going to go to the end. So let's start with A's. Now when I look at my A's, this one's squared, this one's not, this one's not. So this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to look and see, is there anything that I can combine with this? And I look at these, none of these are like terms, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this one down. Next, I've got my regular A that doesn't have an exponent. But if you look, this and this are like terms. So I can go ahead and I can combine those together. And that's going to give me a negative 31AB squared. Now I can go ahead and bring down my term that's got the B in it. So alphabetical order first, then we're looking at exponents. All right, let's try a couple of these geometry ones. I know you don't like the geometric applications of our algebra, but you're going to be happy that you know it come next year when you're in geometry. And these get a little bit harder. So our first shape that we have is a trapezoid. So we're going to start with our formula for a trapezoid, which is area equals 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2. You will be given the formula if you ever end up having a test or an SOL on this. They'll give you the formula for that. You don't have to know it. All right, so let's go ahead and replace. Let's be very careful and make sure we get everything right. All right, our height. When we look at our height, that is 4x squared. Now base 1, we're going to go ahead and do that top base, which is 8x squared plus 3x. And then I'm going to add that bottom base, which is 2x to the third minus x. Now, there are some like terms we can combine in here. So we're going to go ahead and combine these like terms. So I'm going to bring down this 1/2 4x squared. I have 2x to the third plus 8x squared. And I have a positive 3x and a negative x. So that's going to give me positive 2x. Now that I have it written in this order, I'm going to go ahead and start multiplying. The easiest thing to do with this half is say half of 4. Half of 4 is going to give me 2. So that's going to give me a 2x squared. And I'm going to bring all of this down. Now I've got to use distributive property. So I'm going to have 2x squared times 2x to the third, which is going to give me 4x to the fifth. I'm going to have 2x squared times 8x squared, which is going to give me 16x to the fourth. Then I've got 2x squared times 2x, which is going to give me 4x to the third. And that is my answer. All right, one more. Let's do one more together. This is the last problem, number 26. Now, when we read this, it says, find the area of the shaded region. So the first thing I have to do with this is find the area of the larger the larger rectangle, and then find the area of the smaller rectangle. So remember, area of a rectangle is length times width. So let's do the larger one first. So I'm going to have 6x times 8x minus 1. 6 times 8 is 48x squared. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Now we're going to find the area of the smaller one, which is 2x times 5x plus 3. That's going to give me 10x squared plus 6x. So now to find the area of the shaded region, I'm going to take this large one, which is 48x squared minus 6. and I am going to subtract that smaller one, which is 10x squared plus 6x. Remember when I have this negative here, it's like I have a -1. It's going to change each of these signs, so they're both going to be a negative. So I've got 48x squared minus 10x squared, which is going to give me 38x squared. Then I have, this one right here should have been 6x. Then I've got a -6x and a -6x, so that's going to be -12x. Sorry about that. When we distributed right here, we should have had a 6x. So there's our answer, 38x squared minus 12x. So go ahead and go to your homework, where your homework pages are. Look at Unit 7, Homework 2. Try to do some of those, see how you do. Just pick like evens or odds. Just go through and do some of them. And then go check the answer key and see how you did. Bye.